Do you want to film yourself plugging it in and charging?
No.
Yeah, I'll record it.
Right, in what may become a theme for this channel, it's a wet day in the north. And I'm here on the wrong side of the Pennines. The wrong side. To take a look at Jamie's electric Beetle. And to do a bit of testing, a bit of tuning, try and work out why both our cars are still tripping out at the various points. We'll take it for a spin. We'll maybe get a bit fruity with the right foot and take some records and see what happens. Watch and learn. We will. You don't want any video of under your bonnet, do you?
Considering you're driving around at like full throttle most of the time.
Prototype.
Beta.
Alpha.
Take it out and put it back in.
That's manual.
That's what I'm going to replace, and then there you go.
There you go, and it's on.
The weirdest. Oh, I'm going to strap the heater just there, or behind, because there's loads of space back there as well. Noticed, you know, when you put the gauges on, the number doesn't update very often. I wonder if that's...
It's a frequency adjustment, is it?
I wonder if that's min or max or something, I don't know. So if we put heat sink and...
So we're pulling full throttle at 4 grand, nothing's happening.
Model X.
Too much rub, lad. We just salvaged your bits if you got older one.
Buy it, strip it, keep the drive unit and the batteries.
I wonder how long it is before somebody starts nicking high voltage batteries like they do with catalytic converters.
Probably not straight on here.
Yeah, straight on, straight to the end. Pull up at a junction, somebody puts your car up on jacks and nicks your battery off.
Probably not long. So we don't like to play on chain. We get my top jack out and lift up the car.
Heat sinks at 100. Have you lifted off? It's gone down.
I've lifted off.
How quick that goes down.
Yeah.
This is like what Damien had one of his videos, wasn't it?
Yeah. This is why Damien has that ridiculous pump. But the Prius itself,
I'm hardly even touching the throttle.
the Prius itself doesn't have a ridiculous pump. I suppose we're not exactly using it to spec.
No. Those PCE pumps are quite high flow rate, aren't they?
Yeah, yeah. 50 litres a minute, I think.
Straight on.
Right, let's take a break here to talk about what's happening. There is coolant flowing through the inverter. And if you remember, the inverter is what takes the DC battery voltage and turns it into AC to drive the motor. Now, this process generates quite a lot of heat, particularly in the IGBTs, the transistors that do all the hard work inside the inverter. And what you have to do is keep them cool, otherwise the Toyota brain in our Prius inverters shuts things down. Not for long, but enough that you start to lose traction, basically. And so we need to look at how much water's flowing across the die that keeps these transistors cool. That is represented by our kettle here. Now, Jamie and I have both been through a couple of pumps already, and we're looking at a third, the one that Damien uses. So let's have a game of pump trumps, a form of top trumps if you like, just sounds a bit fartier. Jamie and I both started with an auxiliary water pump from a Volkswagen or Audi. You can pick up clones of these on eBay or AliExpress for about 20 quid. And they're not that powerful, but we thought we'd be okay. They pull about 3/4 of an amp and push out about 4 litres per minute. Now, when we both started to have overheating issues, we upgraded. A few people on the forum were talking about the Bosch Pce Pump. And after a couple of missteps, I found the right thing and picked one of these up for about, I think I actually paid about 25 quid in the end, but they can be a bit more. These things are rather more powerful, pulling between 3 and 5 amps depending on what sort of flow rate you're running them at. And they flow at about 16 litres per minute, so a significant upgrade on the VW pump. But it appears from what's going on in Jamie's car, and he's running the PCE pump, that's still not enough. So we need to go bigger again, and we may have slightly overdone it. The Pierberg CWA 200 is the king of water pumps, at least as far as I can tell. These things are expensive, which is what has put us off so far. They can be £200-300 new, or even used for that matter. They put about 15 amps of current, so they're going to need their own little circuit, but have a flow rate of 116 litres per minute. If our little kettle-y IGBTs still overheat under that sort of flow, well, there's not a lot we can do about it.
The hotel's got a rapid charger.
Ah.
Gidemo and CCS.
Good for testing.
I don't know, I think that's a Charge Master one. And then we've got some Instavolts at the next one.
On the petrol station here I used to live, they've got 150 kilowatt CCS. Work out what that is on a 400 volt battery, it's like, bloody hell.
It's a fire is what it is.
That's somebody actually charging us. Never see anyone using those.
I'm still convinced the ones outside my job are like Zenica's fully charged, isn't that the way? It's just not going beyond 100, isn't it?
But the other day when I got the air bubble in, it was cutting out a lot.
Okay.
But I didn't have the gauges to leave temperature. Like when I got the fella from Dark Side in, coming off the roundabout, and I was just going steady, it was still cutting out.
It's definitely drivable, it's just sort of like,
It's probably similar to what it was in its petrol.
Yeah.
should be here.
It's been planned.
And yeah, £6,000 again.
Planted.
Always, it's RPM every time he hits.
So what Robert's talking about there is the RPM, the speed of the motor, and the fact that it's cutting out every time he hits 6,000 RPM, whatever gear he's in. This points to another possible cause for our cutouts. Maybe it's not just about temperature, maybe it's about the speed. Now, temperature could be caused by the motor being at that particular speed. Maybe that's the RPM at which the inverter's got peak power output. But it could also be something else. Our motors are using what's called field-oriented control, and that relies very heavily on an accurate sensing of the position of the shaft of the motor. If that sensor gets out of sync with the shaft itself, then maybe that's what's causing our trip outs. Well, that's a bit of learning.
What's our voltage, by the way? Before we break down on the motorway.
364.
What does yours top out at?
350 now. Depend. I think just under 400.
I'm pulling away. I'm pulling away in second. And we're still struggling. Left here.
Yep.
You say pulling away in second?
Yeah.
National speed limit now.
Yep.
Go crazy.
I was going crazy before. Remember to delete that bit out of YouTube.
So, what did I learn on my little jaunt across the Pennines? First of all, cooling. Both Jamie and I need a bigger pump in the car to keep that inverter cool under load. Got that now, it's ready to go. I'll be fitting that in a future video. Second, Jamie's car's just more powerful than mine. I mean, he can fit 3 people in, which I can't, I can only fit in 2. But even with those 3 people in the car, he can pull away in second, and I can't do that. So I've got some tuning to do. Or I could fit a bigger motor. Even with the bigger motor though, there's clearly an issue with that synchronization, or maybe an issue with that synchronization between the resolver and the motor once it gets up to speed. That may not be an issue once we get the cooling sorted, it may still be. We'll find out in a future episode. So yeah, hope you enjoyed that. If you do like these videos, this is only my second one of this sort of type about my projects, but if you do like it, please do like and subscribe, and I'll try and do them a bit more frequently from now on.